Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral Aquilino, I appreciate our call last week, and I am glad we were able to discuss some of the biggest challenges that you'll face if you're confirmed, including improving our logistics capabilities and capacity in the Indo-PACOM region. In addition to agreeing that our logistics enterprise is absolutely foundational to having a combat credible deterrent, I feel that we were very much on the same page about the need to strengthen our partnerships with the various nations in the region. You and I have both heard our regional partners say that they want a greater US presence in the Indo-Pacific so that they have alternatives to the communist PRC when it comes to trading and security partners. But the tragic murders of 8 people in Atlanta last week, 6 of them of East Asian descent, highlighted a disturbing trend of an increasing violence and hate towards Asians and Asian Americans in this country, particularly those of East Asian descent. Regardless of the stated motive for last week's shooting, there is no arguing that cities across the country are reporting a drastic increase in violent crimes and discriminations targeting members of the AAPI community. It's also not hard to see a correlation between the stark rise in anti-Asian bigotry and our former Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, blatantly using hateful and racist language, such as calling the coronavirus the Kung flu or the Chinese virus, long after such terminology has been deemed inappropriate and harmful. Shockingly, Trump spread such bigotry despite the FBI producing a report as early as March 2020 that included a clear and chilling assessment. Hate crime, and I quote, hate crimes against incidents against Asian Americans likely will surge across the United States due to the spread of coronavirus disease, endangering Asian American communities. And just last week, Gallup released a poll that found over the past year, the percentage of Americans who considered China to be the United States' greatest enemy today rose from 22% in February 2020 and 45% when measured last month. Let me be clear. There's a difference between expressing opposition to the communist Chinese government's aggressive economic and military practices, which I absolutely support opposing them, and ignorantly blaming Asian people, especially those of East Asian descent, for the coronavirus pandemic. Blaming the AAPI community for a public health crisis is racist and wrong, and I'm increasingly concerned that it will hurt our relationship with our partners in the Indo-Pacific region. Admiral Aquilino, when American leaders make racist statements about Asians and American citizens participate in anti-Asian hate, how does it harm the United States' credibility and reputation in the Indo-Pacific region? And please make sure to address how such bigotry and racist violence undermines our relationships with our allies and partners who may already be facing challenges in defending our presence in their respective nation states as views and attitudes towards the US evolve with younger generations.
Thank you, Senator. To your first point, and you and I have had this conversation, right? Professionals talk logistics. So all of our efforts in the region are underpinned, and the relationships with our partners and allies will certainly be required to help us set up this enabling network and support our logistics issues. So thanks for that. To your second point, what I owe and what we all owe our incredibly brave service members is a safe, comfortable place where they can work and execute the oath that they have taken. So there's no place in our ranks for any type of discrimination, whether it be against Asians, whether it be race, creed, color, you name it. It's just completely unacceptable. It degrades from our readiness. And if confirmed, I can tell you it will not be tolerated.
So how does the rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans and hateful rhetoric at the top ranks of government and the absolute lack of representation at the very top ranks of the Biden administration of AAPIs in secretarial positions or higher levels affect our relationships in the Indo-PACOM region? I mean, you're going to be going in there trying to make alliances and with folks in the Indo-PACOM region, and yet we have Asians being shot down, and we have even members of Congress targeting Asian Americans with hate rhetoric. How does that affect your job trying to develop relationships in the region?
Senator, our relationships in the region are critical I have and will continue to say that. As a diverse military, we continue to ensure that our values are understood. I believe our allies and partners understand that when they talk with us, that we speak from a position of shared values. And as I said, if confirmed, I will do everything possible to ensure none of that discrimination is a part of how the Indo-Pacific operates.
Thank you. I have every confidence in your commitment to diversity, Admiral, and you've shown that in your service, and you've shown that in your conversations with me, and I thank you for continuing to be a leader, both in the military, but also when it comes to diversity in that military that we both love. Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.